WEFUNK. We funk.
And of course, I'm going to bring on my geeked up partner, Devin Barnes, to help us out with our favorite music Halloween costumes.
Yo,
Devin, what's going down?
What's going on, everybody? Am I the trick or the treat?
I guess we'll find out. I guess the next 30 minutes will tell. But I guess I'll kick it off with my first costume, but Andre Davi, my first music Halloween costume. I'm going man bun and glasses.
Very nice, very nice.
But I guess big shout out to Andre Davi. I don't know if I've played Davi on the Jammin World here. I don't know. The Closer Look song I don't think has gotten any run on the show. So welcome to the Jammin World, Andre Davi. And like we point out on the Geeked Up podcast, not just hilarious podcast songs, but Piss Mob has some spooky stuff from Piss Mob, I'm sure, for the Halloween season.
Classic Piss Mob Halloween classic.
I'd say this is their time of year, you know. If Piss Mob's putting out any seasonal cuts. But I guess we will, like we mentioned, bring Devin on here to talk about some of our favorite music costumes, as of course, like I was talking about earlier, but major celebrations on the Geeked Up podcast this Halloween year. As much like Devin, as I'm watching spooky bats and witch hats in Devin's background on Zoom over here. We've gone all out for Halloween, and I kind of... gave the rundown earlier, some of the stuff that we've done on the Geeked Up podcast, but I guess one thing that we hadn't really talked about is musical Halloween costumes. So I had to bring you on to talk about that. And I guess we'll give you first I'll kind of just, it's fairly self-explanatory, but I guess I will kick off with my first couple with a little Geeked Up nod, as they have been kind of covered recently on the Geeked Up podcast. And I guess actually one fresh out of the news, but in the musical world, can we go Borat? Can we go the redneck Wuhan flu guy from Borat? He was singing. And I'm just shamelessly trying to get Borat. I guess you're going to have to wait for the next Geeked Up for me and Devin's full reviews on Borat, but I can't wait any longer.
But, I think the Wuhan flu guy definitely counts as the costume in the costume of the ultimate layers.
And you can pull that off. If you got some pillows and an overall and a fucking, get yourself a fake beard, boom, you're good to go.
I think I actually have all that stuff. I think I have a fat suit and a fake beard. So no problem there. I just need a Borat mustache.
But a couple other from the Geeked Up podcast kind of recent shout-outs. But I guess from our recent Netflix and Chat audio scale, Michael Jackson from the Thriller video is always a popular costume, as well, I guess, from the Marriage Stories, which I guess we forgot to throw the Marriage Story in our Halloween classics. But remember from the Marriage Story, the Sgt. Pepper album cover, which, of course, stupid Adam Driver got left out of, but...
For sure. He's like, you're going to be fucking Frankenstein, goddammit. Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's like a huge backdrop of that movie. Halloween.
I know. Remember we were joking about how there was 3 different Halloweens in that fucking movie? It took place over 3 Halloweens. But I guess that's kind of where we're going with this, and we'll I guess there are some further brackets that we can get into. But really anything from the music world. You're walking around on Halloween, you see some asshole with the red leather jacket and Jerry curls. You go, oh, Michael Jackson Thriller. You give him a Vincent Price laugh, Or
really, you just do like a white ghoul face, and you're like, oh, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I guess that's true, as we'll get into later with my Bowie rundown. But there are a couple different ways you can go with Michael Jackson as well, because you could just be wearing sparkly glove and tight pants. It's like, oh, all right. And then you're right, weird, all sorts of masks, I'm sure. Michael Jackson white women masks.
For sure. I would say, if I could throw one out there, since this is the Big LW Jammin World podcast, I'm just going to start off with the whack shit and say
no whack shit. No.
Yeah.
Strictly
prohibited. Whack shit and going right to the Blues Brothers.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, great call. Off my list, but straight out of the Geeked Up world. But great call.
Yeah.
You get the black suits. And you dance. That's one of those that you really got to act like. You got to stay in character the whole time with that one.
Well, I think one of the last times
you got to be saxophoning around the bar to really send that one home. But
one of the last times I was on this podcast, I brought up the Blues Brothers for something else we did, and it was
the soundtrack.
You immediately yelled at me. You yelled at me about that's the whack shit I'm talking about. So I'm coming in hot immediately with the Blues Brothers. Also, though, I'll get into it. Just another band, just kind of going into the geeked up world from the movie we just watched on Netflix, Hubie Halloween. But I'm going with Jared Sandler's band at the party.
Okay, nice.
In all spooky costumes.
Werewolves' backs are very hairy. I listened to that like 4 times last night after putting it as the opening song of that.
And I guess just to really kick off one more, because I've actually, since we've talking about the subject, I myself has actually dressed up as a musician for Halloween with you when we went to the Halloween parade. And of course, I went as ZZ Top Gun.
Okay, but you threw your own. I clearly had that on the list, but you had the ZZ Top Gun, where it was a geeked up spin on a music costume. Where you had like a ZZ Top beard and then the Top Gun jumpsuit. Boom, ZZ Top Gun.
And the big hat. Yeah. Should have really gone with one or the other because nobody really knew what the fuck I was going for.
Yeah, I was going to say, ratio of people that got the... That was like one time I was working at a bar with the other bartender was like 6'8". All right, so we went as Dr. Evil and Mini-Me from the music video, I guess kind of a music connection. But the iconic Jay-Z Hard Knock Life Dr. Evil Mini-Me video. However, like when we weren't standing directly next to us, it was totally out of context, and I just looked like some little fucking Mexican dude, some bald-head Mexican guy. Like you really needed both to be standing there, like doing the pose for it to make any sense. But
for sure.
But ZZ Top Gun's brilliant if you can really. If you're not drunk, if you're not drunk enough to do a riddle, ZZ Top Gun definitely. I guess another little geeked up connection, but just from me and your Halloween's past, and I guess this will kind of kick me off to one of my like full on genres. Or like classifications of costume, but one of the classifications is kind of just like you can go as just like a fan of a genre or just like a person associated with a genre, okay, a la me as the white guy Rastafarian from the last year's Cypress Hill concert when me and you went to Haunted Hill. And I just did like the white guy with the dreadlocks, like the Rasta hat with dreadlocks, and but that's a whole nother avenue that you can go for on Halloween. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be dressed up like as Dr. Evil or whatever. You can just be like a fan of a genre. So you can do what's up?
So you're just white reggae guy.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, everybody would. Or you can just do like metalhead, you know what I mean? Or if you just go, like if you happen to have like leather pants and you can just fucking put your hair in a mohawk, all of a sudden you're a punk rocker. Put some mascara on and all of a sudden you're just going like as a fucking CBGB, patron.
Or just paint your face white and black and you're a juggalo.
All right, well, there's another, there's like an actual Halloween costume, and that's another, because I guess I will just further say we'll bounce around, but we've got a couple different genre or classifications, like I'd said, as one of them are kind of like just, people associated with the genre. Other ones, like you said, a la, you can go as like a juggalo and be Too Dope or Swaggy P or whatever the fuck their names were.
But just any, all those kids from the Juggalo Army and Juggalo Nation are just doing their own kind of Juggalo face.
This is like, I guess, a crossover because I was going to say there are some where it's like you're going as a musician, okay? And then there's others where the musicians are going as a Halloween costume where I guess, like in this case, you can go as a fan of the Juggalos or you could go as a Shaggy Too Dope or Swaggy P. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Who like themselves actually show up dressed up on stage in a costume,
I don't think I've ever seen him without the face paint on. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I myself am a Shaggy 2 Dope guy.
See, I'm a big Swaggy. No, Swaggy P, I think, is the guy from the other Geeked Up show, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
What's the fucking guy from?
I think it is.
What's Insane Clown Posse's name? But the last time I remember I tried to Google them as well. I was convinced that they like had a Spike TV show that didn't exist or whatever. But this wouldn't be our first like insane ICP deep dive in recent memory.
No, it wouldn't.
But I guess when you talk face paint, the other one, like the members of Kiss. Okay, now these assholes,
sure.
they're like their whole career is spent in a Halloween costume, you know, and so if you're going, you can go as a member of Kiss, but it's like Kiss goes as a member of Kiss. That's like what they're
Yes. Yeah.
It's like what Gene
100%.
Simmons does, you know. And I guess there's a couple of those, you know, like Elvis has a famous. I guess like Elvis is a couple, but like if you know, I mean, you show up to see Elvis, he's wearing some goofy jumpsuit, you know, or I want my money back. Basically, how that works.
Yeah, I mean, Fat Elvis is really the way to go. You can go as like young, cool, blue suede shoes Elvis, but no, fat jumpsuit Elvis is easily the way to go.
Yes, for sure. I guess, and then you get to stay in the more hilarious character of just being like a sleazeball. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be you don't have to be dancing on your tippy toes. You can just be fucking drinking like a degenerate and.
Point too, because a lot of the ones I have and just like thought about, a lot of it's going to be like kind of in the rock and roll industry, are more of these idiots that like dress up in costumes on stage. You don't really see a lot of this in the rapping world, but I mean, I'm sure if you threw on though an Adidas jumpsuit and a goofy bowler hat, people would know that you're in Run DMC.
Yes, great call. I was trying to get like a rapper on the list without it being like racist, but you're right. And I guess I kind of had that as like, especially for me and Devin, the white guys, staying away from my third grade Homie the Clown costume in a world where that's no longer appropriate. Like it's tough for me or you to pull off like an actual rapper, so we have to go like fan of the genre. So I guess perfect though. Like if you wear the Adidas tracksuit and a bowler hat, boom, you're like 80s hip hop dude. You're a b-boy. All of a sudden,
you could. Yeah, you're b-boy is what it would say in the costume bag. Yeah, you could also get the big Viking hat, the giant clock, and a grill, and go Flavor Flav.
Okay, great call. Right. Great call. The closest one I had for that was like a crown. You can maybe do the crown and be Biggie. Like the crown, and if you could get that sweater, which I think is like a bag costume these days, that like crazy Biggie sweater, and the crown, you could be like the King of New York, you know? But
I suppose you could also pull off of a Vanilla Ice or an MC Hammer. Wouldn't be too hard.
Okay, for sure. Again, in the genre of just like you can be like 90s fucking 90s
like
or crisscross. Another, I guess that's from like the
rappers.
Costume from the on-stage costumes. But wear your shit, wear whatever you have, just put it on backwards. You're a relic from the 90s crisscross.
It's correct. But everything else is more like I said, like rock bands.
Okay, because want to, I guess before we lay on some of those, actually, let me just, because like you said, Flava Flav, that is a very other popular route to go, which is then like the Sgt. Pepper, as well, like I said, album cover, where you're just doing something that's like synonymous with a musician. You know what I mean? Not necessarily their on-stage repertoire, but like,
sure.
You know, like I said, Bowie has a couple of those, and I kind of referenced to him earlier, where Bowie is another interesting one, where there's like a lot of different ways you can go with Bowie. First of all, like he's just, like he's got the iconic face paint where if you're trying to be low-key and just like wear your regular shit, you can just do like the Aladdin Sane face paint and then good enough, you know what I mean? Nobody can accuse you of not playing along. But
Sure.
but as well, if you're going Bowie, you can as well like pair that with a full-on fucking Elvis jumpsuit, and then like, or just any total weird like wear a blouse.
You could go like Labyrinth Bowie or
Ziggy
Stardust Bowie.
From the geeked up world, we can even go Labyrinth Bowie, where not even from the music Bowie, but Bowie even has like non-music costumes, and then there's even like 80s dance Bowie, where like you can like get the blonde hair and just wear one of those like suits, like the Just Dance suit. I think fucking Marriage Story was that. Wasn't Scarlett Johansson like one of the years was Bowie? One of the many Halloweens in that movie?
I think she was. And she was like making out the dude in the car. Yes,
I think she was. Bowie costume. She gave that dude, she got finger blasted like in a fucking Just Dance costume. That movie was totally Halloween classic, by the way.
We got to bring that up on the podcast.
Big omission on the Geeked Up for our Halloween festivities. But
for sure, you could kind of do the same thing with Freddie Mercury. You could go wife beater, Freddie Mercury, shoelace around the arm, Freddie Mercury. You could go like red jacket, Freddie Mercury.
Okay, yeah.
Really, all you need is a fake mustache and goofy teeth. But there's a couple Freddie Mercurys you could do.
I think wasn't even one of the dudes in Hubie Halloween. Wasn't the Indian kid Freddie Mercury one of the? But he's one of those as well, where he's kind of bordering on like, especially just tank top, mustache, goofy teeth. Freddie Mercury. You really need the goofy teeth to like sell that one, because if not, it's like you can tell that he is, but like you might as well just be a village person at that point. You know what I mean? Or just like, is he just going as like, he's obviously in costume, but he's just wearing a tank top and a Mo mustache. Like what exactly are we going here? So the teeth really sell that one. You know what I mean? But that's one of those you're flirting with, kind of like your ZZ Top, where it's like you throw the beard on, like you can tell he's something, but.
That's true.
It's like it's very far from like the David Bowie Labyrinth. You know what I mean? Like
that's true. Because Aerosmith, Steven Tyler would be kind of one you could do that. Would just get a bunch of leopard scarves, but you would also need Caitlyn Jenner's face to have people really know that you're Steven Tyler.
Okay, Caitlyn Jenner mask, a vintage Caitlyn Jenner rubber pullover mask, and then leopard print scarves.
Leopard scarves.
I mean, Steven Tyler does kind of almost fall, and I was gonna go I'll go back to my just fans of genres, where I'm just gonna throw Lenny Kravitz like in the fan of genre, because just going around wearing a blouse and just looking like you just go as rock star and like and I'm sure that is like an in the bag costume, and I guess even Jimi Hendrix kind of like falls in this.
Yeah, I was gonna say that every time someone asks you if you're Jimi Hendrix, be like, no, I'm
But same thing kind of goes where, like, for me, I can just take, like, most of my wardrobe and then put on, like, long hair wig. I'm a Pearl Jam fan. You know what I mean? Like, get a flannel and some fucking jeans.
I didn't know Pearl Jam wore a bunch of Mets jerseys.
Yeah, I can go with that, too. I mean, Eddie Vedder is the big Cubs fan, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Just, like, if you have a flannel, in your wardrobe, and then, like, all you need is, like, a 90s rocker hair wig, but it's like that's a very easy genre to just pull off. Like the grunge, go as a grunge guy. Like, are you in Nirvana? Are you just one of the shithole fans? Like, does it matter?
Gotcha, for sure. Yeah. That's you're just a grunge guy. I'm grunge guy.
I guess a couple other just like on stage costumes, I guess, to give a big shout out, and we should have mentioned earlier with the Sandler band, but I guess I was going to mention, wasn't it Sandler's cousin? Was he also in the band in Eurovision? Or who was the hilarious assholes in Eurovision? Because I wanted to give a big shout out to Netta Raw and her favorite, but Ghost, of course.
Dude, I have Ghost and Eurovision with the Netta, literally in my notes, a Netta Raw asterisk with Ghost and Eurovision in it.
Well, I think that both of us only know who the hell Ghost is because of like the Netta Raw, because of like laughing at Netta Raw going crazy at a Ghost concert after YouTubing who the fuck that band was, and then like
the
imagining.
Ghost thing just seems like they're ripping off Slipknot, who in turn seems like they're ripping off Gwar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because then there's of course the granddaddy of it all, which is Gwar.
Gwar.
But just
Where
like
the giant
full
snake
on
comes
in
out.
Halloween and like vintage Halloween costumes. Like if you showed up, you'd think they were the Monster Squad until they fucking picked up instruments and like, oh, you guys are a band? Like, why are you guys all dressed up literally as like sci-fi monsters? You know,
100%. They look like they're right out of Hellraiser.
yeah, exactly. Like. But and then I guess there's a couple other ways that you can go with that one, where like Buckethead is another simple one. Like if you want to take the time out of carving out eye holes in a bucket, all right, you're a member of Guns N' Roses. Boom, like fucking perfect. Your
Nice
regular
design.
clothes. I can go in a Mets jersey and jeans. Fucking pail over my head. Boom, I'm Buckethead.
That's a big thing you'll see too, in like, because you kind of break away from rock, but it's a big thing you'll see in the techno world too. Is just a guy with a stupid giant head, like Deadmau5 or Daft Punk.
Oh, Daft Punk, yeah.
And Deadmau5 is just a big fucking stupid mouse head. There's nothing to it, but they're in costume. Same thing like Spacemen was this group that would just wear alien masks.
Okay,
and,
yes.
do live
Good
music.
call.
And then people would come out like stilts and like do all these crazy things. It was like a whole performance. But everyone's in costumes.
Yes, for sure. Definitely fits the list. I guess even just kind of in that vein, going back to the fans of genres or whatever. But any of these like raver girls, if you're stuck for a costume, just wear what you would have worn to fucking Electric Zoo, and like boom, it's a fucking you're right there
it's
as
a
raver girl costume, like
Exactly.
What
What about putting on a?
Sorry, go for
ahead.
it.
I'll also just kind of bring up the people who you wouldn't necessarily think of as like costume wearing on stage, but they're still rockers that are known to do it. Les Claypool, I saw him at Bonnaroo once, and he was just wearing a pig mask the whole time and just like playing a fat bass. Also, Maynard Keenan from Tool is known to like dress like a woman and like keep his back to the stage, like to the audience, and do shows. And even Marilyn Manson is doing a whole
Okay, I mean, great call. Especially you can just do
gothy
Marilyn
shtick.
Manson like face paint kind of stuff, and then you're definitely in there. Les Claypool, you're right. Like I've never seen I didn't see the tour where he was wearing the pig mask, but he's always just wearing something ridiculous, and usually some crazy hat. But like he's definitely one that you can dress up, just something weird, and you're Les Claypool. All sorts of different options.
I'll give one for the ladies out there. Lady Gaga, of course, is always wearing big, elaborate, ridiculous
great call.
costumes on stage. Same thing with another costume, too, that would be good as a person, but the Madonna big cones on the tits Madonna look there.
Yeah, Madonna gets done every year. I guess I hit her on the list as well as like she's got a couple different looks that you can go for. You're right, but the cone is probably the most famous, but a lot of different outfits. And, like, you will see Madonnas every Halloween,
Mm-hmm. And there's another one you'll see every Halloween that AH brought to my attention that I didn't have on my list, but the Spice Girls.
Good call. And they're as well just, like, in full, their whole gimmick is being in various costumes.
Yes. There's the baby one, the scary one, the sporty one, a couple other ones.
I guess for Halloween, do you have to go scary, Spice? Although, again, we're I guess the ladies, again, are running into the Homie the Clown problem.
It's the same thing I see every year. You need 5 people to do a Spice Girls thing, and always have a guy in the group to be dressed as sporty.
Okay, I see. That's the gimmick. How about I'm sure you can Google Spice Guys and 5 hilarious bros that did their which I mean if me, you, and Accountant Mike and if we can round up 2 more, I say
shouldn't be too hard.
Me, you, Davi, Accountant Mike, and then Dennis, and then whoever wins the Halloween Zoom this Thursday. The winner gets to be the 5th Spice Boy, but.
I also got one more who, just on my top of my head, who you really wouldn't think. I mean, I guess it'd be a costume. You would know exactly who it is if you dressed up as it. But I guess you kind of brought up the Guns N' Roses. But Slash, of course, it would be my ultimate Halloween costume. Just a big stupid hat,
The top
and the vest,
hat,
and
yeah.
the black curly hair.
I don't know how I missed Slash when I brought a bucket head and then also Les Claypool's fucking goofy hats. Because, Slash is even Les Claypool's like ripping off Slash's top hat gimmick. But, yeah, great call, Slash, I guess. And then if you can go with a bucket head, you guys are really, and again, I love both of those costumes because, again, I love a costume where I can wear, like Devin said, like my either Mets jersey and or flannel that I'm going to be wearing anyway, So then that's why I really like the Aladdin Sane Bowie or any, like, face paint or just like, all right, I'm going to wear what I'm normally wearing and then a curly hair wig and a top hat.
Yes.
And be like Slash head,
You could also just bedazzle one of your Mets jerseys and go as Elton John.
Oh, Elton John. There we go. There's another, like, Elton John kind of gets me to one of my other, like, real top of the line. But how about Prince? Okay, and again, there's a couple ways that you can go, but like I guess the definitive, like purple Captain Crunch, fucking weird Prince jacket.
Yeah.
Although I feel like at this point that's almost been more hijacked by the Chappelle's Show. Because if you go around
100%.
wearing that, like, I guarantee you're going to hear more game blouses than fucking anything else all night. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be hearing, Charlie Murphy quotes the entire time that you're fucking in that costume. So.
Give it to me, baby. Yeah, that's a great point, dude. Yeah, you wear that purple jumpsuit, you're definitely getting more Chappelle references than, yeah.
But I guess that's really my one. That's like a real top of the line, elaborate one. However, I'd say for me, I'd say the ultimate music Halloween costume, and again, very DIY if you've got the balls. Although I guess that's really all you need because the like guaranteed to steal the show at any party is if you're willing to walk out of the bathroom dressed as Flea with the sock over the balls. If you're willing to go to like the extent of just, and like this one you can just pull off for like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Literally like wear what you're wearing and then come out of the bathroom with the sock over your balls. 20 years later, everybody will be still talking about the Halloween where Ed Kuzma pulled off the Flea for like, you know what I mean? And yes, Ed Kuzma pulled it off.
Yeah, I don't have the balls for that. No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's really all we need. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, ladies, but the ladies are left out on Flea. But and then again, I guess kind of like the Spice Boys, this is as well one of those like male slutty costumes where if you're like a dude who works out all year and wants to like wear like a male slutty costume, fucking rock the Flea, and it's kind of like the 90s version.
See, I think it's a lot douchier if you are the guy that works out all year. Like, I think that costume definitely has more credence to it if like I'm walking around with just a sock.
No, for sure. Right? Way more memorable the Ed Kuzma route or the Devin Barnes, but yeah, if you're not like the working out, but if you are working out all year and dying to show it off on Halloween, the Flea is a good way to go. But I guess I was going to say that it's kind of like the 90s version of the Borat of the first Borat movie costume, which the skimpy bathing suit, and I'm not sure Wuhan flu guy is going to set the world on fire like the green bathing suit thing did. However, that was another one of those where, like, there was a couple years where, and of course, way funnier to be the fat guy wearing the Borat bathing suit.
WEFUNK. We funk.